Hello everybody and welcome to Brian Loves Blockchain. My name is Brian and I clearly love blockchain. On the channel we talk about hints, tips and tricks in the crypto world and read the current news and basically generally help you to be a better and safer investor. Now you probably looked at the title and you were like, oh, urgent update, what does this mean, emergency? I don't want to cause panic with anybody. I just want to update you on what I'll be doing, have done, and in light of what's going on in the world, will continue to do for the next couple of months. So I've been sitting with this idea for a while, kind of wondering whether or not I should be doing this. And just a few kind of little catalysts happened over the last couple of weeks that I just woke up one day and I did the thing I'm about to tell you that I did. And the reason for that is, at the start, it was the Russian thing. And I was like, all right, let's see how this plays out. And then the supply chain thing happened. Then the printing of the money happened, all in different chronological orders, of course. And I was like, this is getting a bit touchy now. And now we're in a recession, which we are. So if anyone tells you you're not, they're lying to you. We're in one and it's only going to get worse. Basically, they're forecasting it's going to get 40% worse than where it is right now. And that's not something I'm willing to deal with. But the last two things that really caught me were Switzerland and Finland, I believe, wanting to join NATO. I was just like, okay, two countries that are renowned for their neutrality and not wanting to join NATO, suddenly going, yeah, shit, we should probably join NATO. Now they're countries, so they obviously are privy to a bit of information we're not, or they're just more smarter than we are. So that push to join NATO is a red flag for me, and Putin's response to it is a big red flag for me. The second thing that really got me was a couple of days ago I was watching a news channel reporting on how China is building and bombing replicas of Taiwanese warships and naval bases. Now, I'm not talking about them just doing training exercises where they're bombing just models. These were exact replicas of those ships and naval bases in Taiwan. And I was just like, oh shit, this is getting a bit dodgy now. And it's for this issue, not financial advice, but I have pulled all of my funds back into consolidation. So I'm talking about, lending your stuff out or earning, as it's called now, or staking. Those of you who I have onboarded, and those of you who are my friends and viewers, you know that I usually use Nexo, Blockfi and crypto.com to lend out and get high yields. And things are just getting a bit nasty for me now, a bit too risque for me to be leaving those things out there. Now, why is it risky to leave those things out there? Well, you're involved, your money's with a third party, so you're giving it to those institutions and they're lending it out to another third party. If that third party can't pay up, you're kind of screwed because it's all your stuff. And I have said to everyone many times, the platforms that we use are highly insured, regulated and backed by the countries that they're in and other Western countries they're in. But if there is a run on the banks, there'll be a run on crypto. Inflation is going to get more and more out of control. Stocks are going to plummet. Everything's going to plummet a hell of a lot more. And people will sell off their positions or take them out to cover their day-to-day expenses. And you might be thinking, it's not that bad, is it? And I'm like, we're in a recession. Supply chains are falling apart slowly. Just today, I went into the shop yet again to get a very basic standard item. Wasn't available, hasn't been available for a while. The country responsible for most of those supply chains is China. Their economy is falling apart. You're not seeing it on the news. We're not seeing a lot of the lockdowns in Shanghai and stuff like that, but their economy is really bad. And they're responsible for most of the supply chains. Then we've got Russia posturing right now. And on top of all of that, we have, what was the other thing? China, recession, Russia, supply chains. Well, that's kind of enough, isn't it, really? So at this stage, I'm just going, nah, it's a bit too much. It's a bit too much. So I can't advise you because I'm not a financial advisor, but as you know, I tell you what I'm doing. So I've pulled out of Nexo, I've pulled out of Blockfi, I've pulled out of crypto.com, and I've consolidated everything back onto those exchanges I talked to you about. So whether it's Coinspot, SwiftX, whatever it is, whatever country you're in, I'm bringing it back to the country that I'm in, which is Australia. So whatever country you're in, I still can't suggest what you should do, but that's what I'm doing, if you get what I'm saying. Then there's the Binance US argument. I'm like, yeah, pull it back to the Binance country that you're in right now, because the dollar, although is kind of skyrocketing, that's not a good sign. That means a lot of people are going into cash and selling off their stocks. And so I'd be pulling out of Binance US as well. Now, be careful, because you've got lending, staking, and now this new term called earning. Even on Coinspot and SwiftX, I believe SwiftX too, you have an earning option. Now the reason, not only am I consolidating away from those third parties into a couple of entities on my soil at the moment, but I'm not actually earning I'm not even staking or earning on my own soil, is because when I dug a little deeper into the contracts about earning and staking, on Coinspot in particular, you may want to dig deeper on SwiftX, but it states that when you lock up or in the earning section of Coinspot, which used to be just staking, the title, so the ownership of your crypto changes to Coinspot while it's on that earning staking period. What does that mean? It means basically they own your stuff temporarily while it's there. And that's in the policies and procedures, so they can lend it out, which is what the banks do. And that's why when the banks crash, a lot of people can't get their money out, because they don't actually own it anymore. As soon as you put it in there, it's in an interest earning account. If it's earning any interest whatsoever, it's being loaned out. And the bank is getting dual interest from the second loaning out part. And when people go to run for that money, the third party and the person after that, they can't fulfill that to the bank. And so you lose your cash. So even on Coinspot, I'm not earning and staking out. Now, for those on Yori or Dandalus with Cardano, that was the press there, I just closed. That's a different story, because you are offering liquidity directly to Cardano pools. For me, that's different. Because a lot of people aren't going to run to open that up, and they're not lending it out to another party yet again. You're just offering liquidity on that platform. So I haven't changed anything to do with Cardano. Should you be like, oh, well, I'll just stake on earn on Coinspot? No, because the title changes again. The title doesn't change ownership on Yori and Dandalus. So at the moment, that's the only thing I'm actually staking and loaning out. I don't want to cause mass fear here or make it hypey. I just want to do what I always do, which is help people invest and get high returns and low yield, or high yield but low risk. And I feel that it's the right thing to do right now. And yes, you're going to lose a little bit of interest here and there with your crypto, but what's a couple of months of interest loss compared to losing everything? Is it going to happen? I don't know, but there's too many factors right now. Russia's pushing, China's pushing, and you know, historically, when a big superpower like that moves one way, the other one goes, ah, shit, I'm going to do it too. And you could have a perfect storm, and it's at a time of a recession with bad supply chains and high inflation. So it's just a bit risky right now, and I don't think it's worth it. What can you do apart from that? Go into cash. I know I've been trashing cash on this channel for a while, but at this stage, the low interest you're going to get on it and the inflation on it kind of is not as bad as losing your cash, if you know what I mean. Like, holding the cash and having it on hand if shit goes down is just a better proposition right now than losing it to some degree to inflation in a bank. I'm fine to take that for now, because it's only going to be a couple of months, and I will do an update video if I start to move things around again. On top of that, I would buy some silver, man. I'd buy some silver because gold isn't performing amazingly. And sadly, God forbid, if wartime happens, it's the silver they're going to want to use. And it's the silver that will go up. And it's the silver historically that goes up because it's used in more things. There's more utility to silver. Should you get big bars of it and stuff like that? I know, crazy. You're like, you seriously are talking about getting metals out of the ground when you're such a crypto digital asset guy. It's possibly wartime, people. It's recession. It's terrible supply chains and super high inflation. Yeah, damn right I'm talking about getting some silver. I haven't sold any of my crypto, by the way, and I wouldn't be selling any of it. That time's gone. It's too late. If you're in super profit, then go for it. But I highly doubt you are. So right now you're just going to hold. These recession things can last for a year or 2 years. But we'll have a better picture of what's going to happen around July from all the sources that I've been researching and talking to. So go get yourself some silver, get yourself some cash, withdraw all your crypto away from third parties, maybe get a hardware wallet like a Trezor or the other one and put some on there and some on the exchange. Maybe write some of it down on a piece of paper so you're splitting it into 3 different places. Get yourself some silver. Get the coins, by the way. If you want to go gold, that's up to you. But with the silver, I'd go coins. It's taxed slightly differently because it's more of a currency still. And it's easier for you to transport. You don't want to be walking around with a big block of feckin' silver and gold. Like, if you need to use it and cash it in, then you can just bring a little bit up. And you keep the rest wherever you're going to stash it. But it is taxed differently too when you get in and out of it. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you disagree with me and you're like, nah, I'm just going for it anyway, man, then tell the rest of us down below. We're in this together. We're investing together. This is a community channel. It's not about hype. It's not about jumping on the train. It's about protecting our wealth. Anyone I've trained and my viewers that are here, we are planning for retirement. We're not planning to get a Lambo like an idiot because that's just a stupid thing to do. By all means, if you want to go do it, go do it. But we're all planning for retirement. We're looking to pay off that house. We're looking to get a housing deposit. We're looking to put our kids through college, whatever. Something of value, something that will last us into old age. And that's why I'm giving this advice right now. But if you're like, nah, man, I'm going for it. I'm doing this risky stuff and that risky stuff. Then let people below know what you're doing. If you disagree with me, let people know down below why and what it is that you're doing. And if you really want to go into this risky stuff and you want to keep going, well, I'll tell you this now and I'll close with this. I'm still dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. I will probably do that for the rest of my life unless the whole thing falls apart. But I'm doing it very, very small. At the same time, I am very, very smallly dollar cost averaging into the metaverse, multiverse. I watched Doctor Strange last night. I can't tell the difference anymore. The metaverse. Because those companies aren't going anywhere. They will build Web 3.0. We will be wearing glasses and going into meetings in virtual reality plus 1 million in the next couple of years. So I would be grabbing up some of them. That's what I'm doing, but just very, very small, you know. Otherwise, I'm banking cash. Banking cash physically and on the exchange. Just have your stuff in different places. Although I'm telling you to isolate back into the exchange and cash and some silver, still diversify within there as well. I hope you got some value from this video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Brian Loves Blockchain on YouTube and Brian Onboards to Crypto on Facebook. And stay safe out there. Take your time. Act like you're in a recession. No, act like you're in a depression actually, because we could actually go there. There's enough factors going on right now that could push us that way. Hopefully it doesn't turn out that way. I'll see ya in the next one.